People around this country, and for that matter around the world, are reacting tonight to the terrible news of the death of Robin Williams. A statement from his wife confirming his death alludes to his battle with depression, and now we know why. The 63-year-old actor and comedian died of an apparent suicide.
Chester Bennington, singer for the influential rock band Linkin Park, was found dead in Los Angeles Thursday morning. Reports indicate Bennington died by suicide. He was 41 years old. Linkin Park's overwhelming success can undoubtedly be attributed both to Bennington's gripping performance as well as their songs' relatable lyrical content: depression, anxiety, paranoia, and suicide.
Kate Spade's husband is revealing details of her mental health struggles. Andy Spade says the fashion designer suffered from depression and was actively seeking help. She was found dead Tuesday of an apparent suicide.
Pretty certain that she had some pre-existing condition, likely a mood disorder, depression, or bipolar disorder. If she wasn't getting treatment, and because if the stigma and embarrassment was deterring her, that's just shameful and unacceptable. And even if she was getting treatment, then why did this happen?
What do you do as someone who loves them to help them?
People tend to tiptoe around sensitive issues like suicide or anything that you shouldn't. You're not going to prompt somebody to do it by asking them, so you talk to them.
With suicide still being on the rise, now more than ever, there needs to be some sort of effective form of intervention or community to help those with suicide ideation. Society, religion, media, and even cultures have made it hard for those to freely express themselves. Professor Temple Northup from University of Houston spoke out and said, "The question then is what can be done? The answer is complex, yet contains what should be an easy first step. Talk about it." The following are stories from women who share their experience with suicidal thoughts.
I felt trapped and lonely in my marriage. I was scared of voicing how depressed I felt, and I didn't want to disappoint my family. My husband refused to realize things needed to change, and I hated conflict. I was ashamed of telling anybody close to me and wasn't completely honest with my therapist, in fear of being hospitalized and outed. I don't want to hurt my family, but at times I do out of anger. I fear not being understood and terrified and being viewed as a failure. Several years ago, I drank so much that taking a whole bottle of Xanax seemed like no big deal. Did I want to die? Yes. But was I actually trying to die? I'm not even sure. Sometimes I wish I had the guts to take enough pills to never wake up again. I wish people could allow others to do what makes them happy. What people think I should do should not be their concern. I want those around me to be happy as long as I'm happy. By connecting with people that I like, being around my pets, and doing fun activities was helped in keeping my mind off of things. But I do think it's an inside job. I have to take charge of my life and realize that only I can make myself happy. And hopefully one day the thought of wanting to die will vanish.
It was after a fight with my parents that I felt that I shouldn't belong in this world or with my family. I was always wrong and no one seemed to understand me. No matter where I went, the darkness seemed to follow. It was at age 9 that I remember trying to tie the radio cord around my neck and pulling it tighter, hoping that I would just stop breathing. I couldn't talk to anyone about wishing to die. I was ashamed and I knew that God forbids suicides, so I felt alone in this. Later in life, it was guilt that made me stop and think twice. I couldn't bear the thought of inflicting more pain to my family. It was a consistent debate. Are they happier with or without me? I eventually thought it would be best to just leave and enter the world of drugs and alcohol to escape. I wish I could say that the birth of my son helped me, but the urge to act on it basically went away thanks to medication and being able to talk more about suicide and its effects.
I see problems down the line.
I was younger than 10 years old when I had my first thoughts of suicide. My parents were going through a divorce and nothing made sense to me anymore. I felt lonely and useless, but the love I have for my sister stopped me from ever really hurting myself. I thought of how she would feel if I was gone. I tried pills and even poison to end my agony. I wanted to feel like it was okay for me to feel sad sometimes, that they could count on me. Crying and having someone to talk about how I am feeling has helped ease the pain.
I felt and knew that I was depressed for years, but always managed to shove it aside and focus on something else. It wasn't until I was 80 days away from marriage that I sort of snapped. I couldn't handle the amount of pressure I was in, not to mention that I was so unhappy, so much so that I thought dying was the only way out. In 3 years, he had me believing that every fight was my fault, that the person who needed to change was me. The shame, guilt, and embarrassment I felt, knowing that I was going to break a proposal, overtook me, and I endured. He was loved and adored by everyone around him. I couldn't possibly tell anyone how he treated me or made me feel. I wanted this pain to end any way possible.
Don't let the darkness eat you up. 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 Don't let the darkness eat you up.
I am your daughter,
Your mother, sister,
niece,
Aunt,
spouse, peer,
friend. Instead of saying anything,
just listen.